Graduation season will soon be here, and many students are excited to be done school, but feel unprepared and anxious about what comes next.
You know, career coach Sarah Vermunt joins us this morning with tips for new graduates starting their careers. It is the most exciting time, but also the most frightening time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all here in Career Rookie, a get it together guide for grad students and career newbies. So we all know that you see people changing jobs more than ever now. You said 2.5 is the average, and then there's a change?
Yeah.
That's high.
Yeah.
It's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people coming out of school and feeling a lot of anxiety about what to pick. Will they pick the right thing? A lot of people come out of school and they studied something maybe they didn't like, and so now they're really worried about what to do.
Yeah, let's talk about that. When you're 17, you're forced to pick something, and you change a lot between 17 and 25. So I changed my major in university 4 times.
So did I. I was biology.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, I studied journalism, and I didn't end up working in journalism. So actually, only 7% of people have the same career goals as they did at 17 when they're 25.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that means that 93% of people are getting out of school and thinking, now what?
So what do you do with that? That's the best time to do the change, though, right? Don't get into the career, do the change then. But how do you do it?
Yeah, well, that's the big question, right? So there's a few things you have to do, and I kind of think of navigating your career at that stage almost like a 2-track process. On the first track is figuring out what you want and going after it, and then you do have to deal with this emotional side of things, because if you're too anxious, you might panic and choose the wrong thing again. So giving yourself a little bit of time to figure things out can be really helpful, instead of maybe just taking the first job offer you get or just doing what your dad tells you to do, which is what a lot of people feel like they have to do.
But to your point, Raj, if you know what you want to do, you just said you kept all of your rejection letters.
Well, it was one of the best pieces of advice I got from one of my teachers at Seneca was, you're going to get a ton of rejection letters as you're trying to get that first job, because the first job is the hardest one. So I knew to expect it. And I knew I only needed one that said you've got the job.
Yeah, and that's a good approach. So to keep applying for the kinds of jobs you want can be a great thing. And while you're doing that, because it might take a while, what I actually advise a lot of my clients to do is sometimes to take a just for now job while they're figuring out like the long game, so that they can pay some of their bills, keep their anxiety down, get a little bit of experience. And remember, it's just for now. You've still sort of got your eye on the prize for your long-term job, but it keeps you getting a little bit of income and a little bit of experience while you're doing that.
So do you feel like that job should maybe not be so mentally taxing, so that you have the energy to dedicate towards interviews and finding that dream job instead?
Yeah, that can be good, especially if it's something that's not related to the field you want. If it's something that's related to the field you want, you probably do want to invest a lot of time and energy into the job, because you'll be learning things that are relevant.
Yeah.
And possibly take you in a direction that you want to go.
Yeah, hopefully.
Now, in the age of the gram, and let me just say, there's a lot of colorful, fun language. Colorful language, kids, inside this book if you're picking it up. You do not mince your words.
No.
But you also say, stop comparing yourself to everyone else's success. Man, that can get you down, right?
Yeah, and that's true for all of us, regardless of age. When you're super amped up and stressed out, maybe looking at Instagram to see what everyone else is doing is not such a good idea, because, I mean, there's a lot of people out there who are super stressed out and don't know what they're doing, but they're all kind of pretending like maybe everything is okay. And so what we have is a ton of people who are super stressed out looking at a ton of other people who seem like they know what they're doing, and it's not helpful.
How do you deal with that, with the stress of trying to get that first job? How do you handle that?
Well, making sure that it's in the right direction is certainly helpful. And what I have a lot of my clients do is start with just lists of general career ingredients that they want. So the kind of people they want to be working with, the kind of environments, the kind of work tasks, getting clear on what they do want and don't want, just in terms of ingredients, can be super helpful. Another thing that's really helpful is informational interviews. So that's just having coffee with someone who you kind of want to learn about their work experience to see if, you know, your ideas about what that field is what it's actually like. Because in many cases, you might dodge a bullet. If you thought a job was a certain type of thing and then you talk to a few people in that industry, you might find out that you were a little bit wrong, or you might find out that you were right on track, and in fact, you do want to pursue that.
Right, and it's better to find out sooner than later before you're too entrenched.
Yeah.
Great tips, and we're just scratching the surface. BreakfastTelevision.ca. I wish you were around when I was struggling in my 20s. It was brutal.
Well, it's tough. It's a tough time, and the first job, always the hardest, right, to get.
I was studying linguistics, environmental studies. I'm like, what am I doing with all this? And finally, I went to college after for those practical skills once I was done university, but you'll get there eventually, right? And the tips here certainly help. Pick it up. It's called Career Rookie, a Get It Together guide for grad students and career newbies. BreakfastTelevision.ca for more.